Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everybody had a great weekend and you had an awesome start to this week, which meant you had a great or solid ending to the month. I was a little slow today. Stocks weren't moving that fast, but I kind of like when they move slow. You know, right after I take my first profit, then it can move as slow as it wants to. I could care less after that. But if it moves fast, at least move to my first target fast. But I got a quick question for you guys today before we get into my trade recap. Now, how many of you have refunded your account over and over? You know, how many of you started over several times? You know, you stopped and then you decided to come back and you started over. Well, if you answered yes to any of these two questions, you're writing the same story over and over and over again. Stop rewriting the same story. You know, it's time to stop writing the same story and take that story that we've been writing and put it into action. You know, now this picture was given to me by my wife a few years ago. Actually, it was this 2014, not long after I talked to her about me wanting to start trading. And, you know, she brought this picture up and she was like, "You remember when this picture was taken?" And, you know, I was like, yeah, I remember. And, you know, it was the first time that I ever took her to Hilton Head. It was while we were dating. And she asked if I remembered what I said when we were taking the picture. And I said, yeah. You know, I remember the story. And she said, you know, it's been 20 years. And every time we go to Hilton Head, and we usually go every year, we at that same spot and you tell the same story. And you've told it over and over and over again for the last 20 years. And she's like, you know, a big part of me falling in love with you was when you would share those stories. Because I could just imagine our life together as you achieved your dreams and your goals. You know, everything that you would tell me about and eventually would tell the kids about. And, you know, she didn't have to say anything else. At that point, I knew it was time for me to start taking personal responsibility for putting that story into action. To stop rewriting that same story over and over again, but to start living that story. It was time for me to start doing what it took to start a new chapter called What Next? Meaning, what do I need to accomplish next so that I can achieve my goals and dreams? You know, and when my trading started taking a turn when I first started, you know, it was this fire that helped me turn it around so that I wouldn't, you know, keep doing the same thing over and over again. Because I thought to myself, yeah, you're writing the same story over and over again in your trading. You know, you need to figure out what's missing. Obviously, there's something missing. And that was where it kicked off. That was where we started over. And everything started over from that point. And that's when I started rewriting my story. That's when I started doing my blog. And you know, I started upgrading my knowledge and developing the skills that I need so that I could build off of the story. I could start writing new chapters. So each and every one of you can do the same thing. You don't have to keep rewriting this story. You don't have to keep refunding your account and starting over. You don't have to do that. You can start and develop the skills and build it. That's exactly why I started over, why I'm using my small account, while we're taking it slow, and I'm trying to show you guys and be a model as to what we have to do in order to get to the next level. So stop being a victim of the market. You know, the hell with the market. You know, let the market eat our dust. You know, yeah, we have to work around what it's going to give us, but we don't have to take crap. You know, it's our choice if we take the crap or not. You know, we can pick and choose, and we can find, and we can find those gems in that garbage the market craps out every day. You know, so we just have to stop being a victim and start rewriting our own story. It shouldn't be an issue anymore. You know, once we identify what the problem is and why the wall that we keep hitting, it's time to move it out of the way and keep on going. Alright, so let's take a look at our day. FDC was a stock that was on our watch. I did not like the daily chart. Obviously, you can see it's ugly. To me, this is ugly. This isn't smooth price action. Even though we're going down, look how choppy this price action is. How we opened here, we ran all the way up and then sold all the way back off, all the way down. You know, we had some solid candles in here, but there's a lot of wicks. And when I see a lot of wicks like this is a very difficult stock to trade. So I wasn't really keen on it. You know, sometimes it can have a good day. You know how sometimes that backup quarterback comes off the bench, or that pitcher that just hasn't done a darn thing all year, and he comes in, you're out of pitchers, you bring him in and he saves the game, and then he doesn't do anything else the rest of the year. That's the kind of stock I thought this could be. You know, we can have one good day in the quarter that this thing would trade, but it just never did set up. Never did give me, you know, what I was looking for. So the stock that I chose was ARNC, and this one, you see, we were gapping down well below the 52-week low. So to me, that's not blue sky breakout, but that's a free fall. There's no floor there. Now, yeah, you're going to run into whole and half dollar marks. You got to respect those. But we don't have any, you know, established support, any pivots or anything like that within the last 52 weeks. So, you know, I really like these, and this is what my focus was. So, obviously, we're trading a small account, so I have to be more conservative. Now, there are different schools of thought. There are some traders that feel trading the low dollar, low float stocks when you have a small account is the way to go. But those of you that's tried, you realize just how risky it is and how quickly you could lose your money. So I stay away from them. I look for the little bit higher price stocks. This one was only, you know, a $20 stock at the time, but it had a 400 million share float, which meant it's not going to jump up and down and swing, you know, run up $1 and then come back, you know, and you don't have to load up with a couple thousand shares. You know, I got in with 300 shares. I had the buying power to do 500. But remember, we are taking this one step at a time. And we're growing it. We're developing it. I'm actually getting back in the groove of trading a small account. Because when I started at the beginning of the month, I was trading a small account like I would be trading my larger account. And that philosophy doesn't work. So I proved it to myself 3 times now. It doesn't work. So I think it's through my thick skull. So what we had to do, we waited for the first candle to put in a opening range, the first 5-minute candle. Now, and I was saying this, and I'm going to say this in chat while we're watching this. Those of you that are a little bit more aggressive, you could have gotten in when I told you. Say this was an aggressive entry. And you could have gotten in here. You would have had to withstand another little pop, but you would have made more profit. That's the risk that you're taking. The more conservative one was to wait. This candle opened, retested these levels again, started to sell. Once we got below the body, I felt confident. I know I was getting in ahead of this opening range low, but I was confident once we lost the body, we started to sell off, that we were going to make a move. We made a quick move down here, but I couldn't, cover anything. And finally, when we made this move, I went ahead and covered a piece and covered some down here. Probably should have taken it all off with the way, the momentum was shifting, but I will say, hey, if it rejects here and sells back off, I would still be in it, but no, it didn't. We started to make this move. Once we made a higher high, I took it off. So this was a nice, nice profit here on this trade, and at least I thought it was. I realized once I looked at my P&L this afternoon that I didn't make what I thought I had made, but all in all, it was still a good trade. So I waited for it to reject up here. Here we tried to push up. This candle closed below it. I waited for this candle to open and then confirm. It did, and it quickly went nowhere. And on this pop-up, I had to respect my stop. There was no way of knowing whether this was just going to pop up here or whether we're going to continue to run up. You got to respect your stop, no matter what. So I respected my stop. I got out, and then I got back in here. And unfortunately, I went to lunch. I got in my car and started it up. I logged into my computer and saw that this stock was getting ready was setting up again. So I ended up getting back in this and had to trade this at lunch. I was actually at the driving range, but got a nice sell off down here to 1870. What was that? The first one, 1909. And then we got the next one, 1875. And I thought that was going to be it, honestly. I thought we were done. So when I got back in, I sat down, we logged back in, and I saw this, and the lower deviation band was like 35 cents or so away. And I thought, well, we probably aren't going to do any more today. But I was wrong, and it ended up selling off. But I wasn't going to chase it. I made the mistake. I was wrong by thinking that it wasn't going to sell off, so I wasn't going to compound it and get in, and then it turned around on me. So I'm okay with the decision. I didn't get mad and start looking for other stuff to trade to try to make up for this. And these are things that we have issues with a lot, is we start making these bad decisions because we get mad. We take things personally. It's like if I get in this tomorrow, the same setup, and it ends up starting to work and then it pops up, then that's when we start to take it personally. It's like, look, I wasn't in it yesterday and it dropped. I get in it today and it runs up. And then we start looking for things to blame. And the easiest target is Suretrader. If it's our broker, people are going to say, well, they saw me in it and they didn't want it to go, so they went and stopped me out. believe it or not, people do email me and tell me these things. And I try my best not to laugh because I've been through that before. I was like them. You know, I'm not laughing at them really to be funny. I'm laughing at them thinking of how I was at the same time, doing this, saying the same things, thinking that it was Suretrader that wanted to stop me out. But it's not. This is just the way the market works. And, you know, sometimes they're going to work, sometimes they're not. That's just the way it is. So, you know, I'm okay with this. You know, like I said, I thought I had made close to $200 today. We did before commissions, but I felt after commissions, I felt we made more. But 153.12 is not bad. I'll take that any day over a red day. So that was it on ARNC. Now, speaking of red days, we had a lot of them in our Suretrader account. I had a lot of red days. The first 3 weeks of April, back in our small account, started with $1,800. And this was about starting small, developing a skill that you're going to need. And it takes more than a couple weeks to do it. You know, it takes several months to get comfortable and develop the skill and experience a lot of what the market has to offer. And I felt starting in April, at the beginning of the second quarter, a couple weeks before earnings really kicks off, I felt it would be a good challenge. And boy, it turned out to be a better challenge than I thought it would. So through the first 3 weeks, we were down $602.69. I was down to about $1,200, just under $1,200 in my account. And this is why I recommend starting with at least $1,500, but if you can, $2,000 to $2,500, because you're going to run into stuff like this, especially if you've been in a simulator and you're trying to move from that to live trading. It'll probably be worse than this. Here I was just going from a large account where I could pretty much trade whatever I wanted, however I wanted it. You know, I guess not Google or Amazon, I guess, or Amazon. But, you know, it was a big shock because you can't trade a smaller account like you trade a larger account. Even though I was pig-headed enough to think that and think that I was good enough to make it work, it did not. And so after we got down to that 1,200, we did that. We refocused and reset and ended up $793 over the last 7 days. We had six green and 1 red day, and we grew our account 66% from our lowest point. So once we refocused and we stopped and we started writing another story, you can see the results. They speak for themselves. And you guys got to see it live and in color. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, unfortunately, there was a lot of ugly this month, but it sure ended good. And this is sweet, sweet, sweet. So looking to start May off on the same foot. You know, if the trade isn't there, we're not taking it. If I don't feel good about it, we're not taking it. You know, I don't mind, you know, missing out on a trade here and there. You know, if it's going to keep me comfortable and keep me from being red. So that's it. We're going to do tomorrow. I'll do the swing trade / all day hold account. Didn't take anything in there today. There just wasn't anything setting up. So again, on those days, if I don't see it setting up and I get into my day trading day, I'm not even worrying about it. We'll come back tomorrow and see if we can find a perfect setup. But didn't enter any other swing trades. Still in S. Was what I shared with you guys this weekend. I'm not giving up on it, even though the banks are trying to crap on it and downgrade it and T-Mobile, when obviously them merging is going to make it a stronger company. But for some reason, the banks decided they wanted to downgrade them today. And there's just some other things in play that's manipulating the whole deal. So we'll see how that works out going forward. So that's going to do it for me today. I'm really, really happy and really excited about what we did the last couple of days. Well, the last 7 trading days. We really turned this thing around, got it back to normal. We averaged over $100 a day. I don't even know what it is, but I don't have any monetary goals. We shouldn't have any monetary goals right now. What our goal should be is to identify the correct stocks, write the best trade plan, and execute it. If we do that, money's going to be there. It's going to come. So that's going to do it for me this week. Well, not this week, today. I don't want to give up this week yet. I'm still excited. I think we can continue to, build this thing up. So really excited about moving forward. And if you guys aren't in, you're missing out on all the fun and excitement, which is cool because you're getting all of that plus you're learning as well. So kind of hard to beat that. So you guys take it easy. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.